think I just started. This is our 20th SUGCON, our 10th in Europe, and it's obviously in my hometown here in Ireland. So I'm absolutely thrilled to be hosting you all here in Dublin. Hope you're having a good time. For any of you here yesterday, and looking forward to spending time with you over the next couple of days as well. And also welcome Sitecore to Dublin, a Danish company with a lot of Danish heritage. We go back a long way with the Danes. They came to our country in the 10th century and introduced themselves. But Dublin, the Dublin name is in Gaelic is Dubh Linn, which means black pools. And when the Vikings arrived, they arrived at a confluence of two rivers. The Liffey is the main river, and another river flew into it, and that created this really deep, dark, black pool as it flew into the Liffey, and it flowed into the Liffey, and that's where Dublin got its name. And the first kind of Viking king in Ireland was a guy called Sihtric Silkbeard. He was known for his facial hair, and I think as I look around the audience these days, we have some techniques and hipsters that I think could rhyme with them. Maybe we'll have a Silkbeard competition later. And that was one more funny story, then I'll actually talk about real stuff. I was at the dinner last night, and we had a dinner for the speakers. And two people came up to me and said, "Dave, I can't believe you were coaching your son on the pitch outside." And I was like, "Whoa, hang on. Like, this is the fourth largest stadium in Europe. There's the Nou Camp, I think, is the number one. Then Wembley, then Camp Nou, and then Croke Park. It's the fourth largest. It has 82,500 people." But I met Sean Broderick. I was coaching my son at a small football stadium in the north of Dublin, a few hundred people. And I met Sean, who was there, who we worked together. And Sean was like, "Hey Dave, how's it going?" Anyway, so somehow that went from me with my 10-year-old son to me coaching out on one of the largest stadiums in Europe. So I got to up my coaching game if I'm going to do it. And don't tell my son, but he's got to work a bit harder as well. But look, I think it's I'm genuinely delighted to be here. And first, I just want to thank everybody, thank the sponsors. I think it's a huge community-driven event. We couldn't do this without the sponsors. So just a quick round of applause for all the sponsors. So the other kind of cool thing is this is my first public appearance as CEO. As you're going to see, I'm bubbling over with excitement. I couldn't tell you how excited I am to have this role. Before I talk a little bit more about that, I do want to acknowledge the last 3 years. So with Steve, Sitecore went on a tremendous transformation, right? We doubled revenue. We became a much bigger global organization. We had the ability and the investment to invest and transform and create a new cloud portfolio, in addition to the XP platform that's been so successful globally. We've expanded our ecosystem. I think we've got 25,000 developers in the ecosystem now, which is just an astonishing number. And we continue to engage the community in events like this and with our partner ecosystem to expand our reach. So Sitecore is a dramatically different business than we were 3 years ago, and I do want to acknowledge that. But from here, I think we're at this inflection point where we want to go on a new phase of growth with Sitecore, and I think it's testament to the thinking from the board, from our investors, that they chose a product leader rather than someone in sales or accounting to kind of embark on Sitecore's next phase of growth, because I think it's going to be driven by innovation. I think it's going to be driven by how exciting we can be as a company and how much value we can deliver through our products to our customers and our partners and the ecosystem more broadly. So it's a huge testament to the vision from the board down, that they want someone like me to lead the business, and it's a real clear message about our ambition as a business. I'm a huge believer in Sitecore. I can kind of share with you very honestly. I was part of the acquisition where I was the CEO and founder and joined Sitecore 3 years ago. I was lucky enough to be the chief product officer for 3 years, but honestly, when I joined, I wasn't sure I'd be here 3 years later. I'm not sure my kind of founder entrepreneurial mindset would gel with Sitecore, but it did. I've had a blast over the last 3 years. I've had an amazing time working with amazing people, building amazing products, and engaging with the community at events like this. It's been really exciting, and I think for me, having this opportunity to step up and have a bigger influence on the direction of Sitecore is a real privilege. As I said, I'm a huge believer in Sitecore and what we can do as a business and the kind of value we generate to our customers. We've got all of these really kind of powerful or compelling ingredients. We have an amazing people in the company, around the company. We have an incredible technology platform now, both the products with XMXP together with our composable DXP. I think we have this wonderful ecosystem that we can lean on and work with very closely. And we're in a market that's growing quickly. Everybody in the world needs a website. Everybody needs to be better digitally. Everybody needs tools and capabilities from Sitecore together with our partners to deliver on their promise to the end customer. And so it's a tremendously exciting opportunity, not to mention the AI horizon that we're all looking at now, which we'll talk a little bit more later. Well, look, I think for me, I'm delighted to be here. It's great to get the opportunity to share some thinking and thoughts with you, and so let's jump in. As CEO, I think my kind of first focus will be trying to just rationalize how I want to speak to the market and what we want to do from a strategy perspective. I think it can break down to kind of three key things: our products, our people, and our ecosystem. Obviously, we've got a wonderful product portfolio of capabilities. And the key thing is that we continue to invest in things like stability. We've heard that XM Cloud has been enormously successful, but we want to make sure that it's as bulletproof as the historical legacy that we've had with XMXP, so that customers can trust it, and we're going to continue to invest there. We're going to continue to innovate at pace. We've created our composable DXP. Think of that as our foundation for innovation. We want to continue to invest and double down there. So, I'm a product guy, so obviously product will be top of my list in terms of how we deliver value to our customers and through our partners. But we can only do that with our people. We can only do that if we nurture the talent internally. One of the things that struck me when I joined Sitecore, I came from a relatively small company, Box Ever, where everything was about the people. I felt the smartest people in the world working in that company. And I came to Sitecore, and I was truly amazed at how many smart people we had in that business as well. So, my job as CEO is how do I unlock the potential in the business? How do I allow all of these super smart, engaged people do great work and deliver value to you, the ecosystem? And the ecosystem is always been a key pillar of the Sitecore success. We've always invested in partnerships. I think we've reinvested in that over the last 3 years, and under my kind of guidance, I want to do more. I think from a community perspective, Stack Exchange has been hugely valuable to help the community solve some of those things themselves. The Slack community has gone through the roof. I think we've just crossed 10,000 accounts. So we can see this engagement. So give it a big round of applause. So we have all of this together with the investments we're making at the kind of strategic level with our partners and leaders in our partners to really help deliver and define the future of what we believe digital experience should and could be. When we think about that, I think we've been on this tremendous transformation as a business, and we've been thinking a lot about, how fast we've been going, because we've gone really quickly, versus how fast our customers can come on that journey with us. And I think the analogy that you've probably heard some of us use already, but I want to just take a moment and talk about it here, is the transition to electric cars. And so when I think about our composable DXP, I think it's SaaS, it's modern, it's got headless capabilities, wonderful developer experience, wonderful user experience, but it's a big shift from where many of our customers are today. And you contrast that to say the car market. Everybody's extremely excited about the future of electric cars, but not everybody's ready to go there. People have range anxiety. People wonder about whether that car is right for them. They just like the feel and shape of the car they drive today. And so with all these things in mind, even though I believe the future is electric, and I do believe the future is cloud, I think there's a stepped motion to get there for our customers and for the ecosystem. And so when you contrast it where we are, we've got our XMXP products that can be self-hosted or hosted on managed cloud, extremely configurable, very powerful, and it's a technology that a lot of our partners and ecosystem is really comfortable with, and our customers really comfortable with. On the other side, we have our next gen SaaS platforms that have all of the things that I think we need to be future-proofed as an organization and future-proof our customers as they think about digital experience going forward. But I think when we think about where customers are on that, not everybody's ready to go there today, right? So when you look at what's happened in the car industry, you've got lots of people who are perfectly happy going with electric cars. Most people are still on combustible engine cars, and a lot of people, me included, opt for hybrid, where I want the value of electric, I want the eco-friendliness of electric. I like driving an electric car, but equally I want to drive to the other side of the country without having to queue at an electric charging point. And so I think for me, there's a big analogy there for what we in Sitecore are trying to do. It's about offering choice. And when we think about choice, it's about having the ability for customers to stay with XM or XP and host it and configure it as they want. And we're being ultra committed to that roadmap. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. We also want people to know that when they're ready to move to cloud and take all the advantages of that and change the paradigm of how they deliver content, they're ready for XM Cloud. And with our composable DXP, the products that we have in the middle, they can pick and choose to assemble the stack they need uniquely for their business. And so when I think about the electric car, it's XM Cloud plus some of our composable products. When I think about the combustible engine car, it's more around XM, XP and what they do today. And the hybrid is where many of our customers are availing of some of our SaaS products to enhance their current installation and start that journey to SaaS, which is a really, really important message that I want to become much, much more vocal about. When I think about, when we say choice, I really do mean that we want to make sure our customers feel comfortable, confident that if they want to remain on XM or XP, they can. We're about to release 10.4, we're planning for 10.5, we're thinking about how we can create more value in that stream on an ongoing basis. So customers who may want to host it for historical reasons, or they've got the right resources internally, they may want to host it or run XMXP because they've got geographical constraints, like in Saudi Arabia, for instance. Or they may want to host it because they've got some sort of compliance things. They've got, a specific Azure tenant that's designed and compliant for financial services, and it's better host Sitecore in there rather than host it on the cloud. So I think what we want to do is be really, really vocal about choice and really, really committed to choice. I think what we have done is we've been really, really vocal about XM Cloud and Composable. What you're going to see is us become more and more vocal in our marketing, in our messaging, in our customer support, in our sales message to say, you know what, we can support you where you are depending on what you need. And this is really, really important. We've got a wonderful portfolio of products that has a real capability right across the full stretch of this composable stack. And we're continuing to invest right across these. That's the commitment that Sitecore wants to give. But we also want to make sure that we can balance and meet the customer needs where they are and what they need from us. So choice is going to be a big thing you're going to hear from me over the next while. But part of choice is showing we're obviously committed to XM Cloud. We're hugely committed to Composable. We're also committed to XMXP. And so I just want to, I know I say this, so I think I say it enough, but I don't think I can say it enough. XP and XM is going nowhere. We're going to continue to invest in that product. We see sometimes there's articles online and things like that about, will Sitecore end of life this or change that? The answer is no. You're hearing it from me here to you guys directly. It's going nowhere, and we'll remain committed to it. XM 10.3 was one of our fastest adopted platform releases ever. So the good thing was it was one of the most complete. It was one of the easiest to upgrade. We were able to harvest a lot of the innovations that we did in XM Cloud and bring them into 10.3, and that's going to be our strategy going forward. With 10.4, you can see there we have a huge amount, over 200 features and enhancements into the product, and we've done a huge amount of work with managed cloud in terms of security and scale and cost. We've also done loads of things around personalization, and you're going to hear Peter and Colin talk about this later today, so I'm not going to steal all of their thunder. I'm not the product guy anymore, I'm the CEO. And a ton of things we're doing around composability and analytics. So just to say, we're incredibly proud of this. We're going to work out how we can do more in this space and continue to invest in our platform. And when we think about the future with XP, we're thinking about it in a couple of different levels. We're thinking about, you guys have all used Experience Editor and Content Editor. We're thinking, how do we start to move that forward, and what does that look like? So we're looking at a UI refresh, maybe to bring it more in line with the rest of our composable stack, so it doesn't sit outside it sits into it and beside it and comfortably beside it. So it's important. I think we're going to talk about AI later. we talk about AI, we're creating this suite of AI services that will absolutely underpin and integrate everything across our composable stack, but we're also thinking about how that AI service can plug into XM and XP, and customers can leverage that even if they're on-premise or self-hosted. The other big thing is we're learning a lot with the new evolutions in XM Cloud around the developer experience and how we're integrating it. We're doing a ton of work on Edge, we're doing a ton of work on publishing, we're doing a ton of work on headless, JSS. You're going to hear a lot of that from Liz later. Again, I'm not going to steal her thunder, I promise. But what I want to say is that those learnings, that capability, is going to be brought back into XMXP as well. So you're going to see a lot of the innovation that we're developing and delivering on cloud. We're going to see that innovation merge and enhance XMXP also. This is really, really important. And to do that, when we talk about that hybrid solution, a big part of us bringing Connect into the picture was providing this ability to connect or integrate these technologies together in a much easier way. So what you're going to see is us working harder on the XP side to connect XConnect and really work it deeply into our Connect platform so that we can take advantage of all of the connectivity provided by Connect. So think about that closing the gap and that hybrid example, but we want to make sure that the user interface and the underlying technology remains current. That's something that we want to do. We want to make sure that the developer experience improves and enhances over time, and the connectivity from that stack becomes easier and easier. Like XConnect was, as an example, was delivered 10 years ago. Some of you guys don't know exactly when, but it's a long time ago. The world has moved on. There's a lot of integration capabilities, like we've shown with Connect, that make things a lot easier. So we want to bring these new paradigms into XMXP in a way that customers don't have to upgrade or don't have to move materially to take advantage of them. And so, look, when I think about the hybrid model, and choice, I think we're looking at the types of things that customers are combining with XP. And so I'm going to have some examples now of customers, but we see a whole bunch of customers taking advantage of the personalization capabilities from Personalize, or the data capabilities from CDP, or integrating some of the capabilities from Content Hub. And we're seeing a really, really big groundswell of customers that they might not be ready to upgrade their CMS because that happens on a fairly methodical, fairly kind of defined life cycle, but they are ready to move forward and take more innovation into their stack so they can deliver more without a big commitment of an upgrade. When we look at some of the customers that have done this, like Mandarin Oriental, they're a customer who went headless on Managed Cloud recently, so they didn't necessarily bring in a lot of new technology, but they re-architected their solution. They had a huge uplift, like 50% increase in site visits, almost 50% increase in returning visitors. So they saw the energy and the momentum and the speed of the site improve, and that materially translated into business value. Everybody's familiar with L'Oreal. They brought in Content Hub into their stack to start managing generative AI at scale, the content of generative AI at scale, and they've had a huge benefit across the business of being able to leverage that. Poulet is a long-time customer of Sitecore, Managed Cloud customer. They brought CDP into the mix and connected CDP into their XP installation. They got deep analytics. They were able to connect that to their marketing stack, and they were driving much better conversion through outbound communications because they knew who were on their website, they understood the intent on the website, and then they connected that to the rest of their marketing stack. And the Gold Coast is a tourist marketing site in Australia, obviously. And those guys went XP with all the stack. So they had CDP, Personalized, Search, Content Hub, and they've just seen a dramatic 200% increase in conversion, a big rebuild of the site. And so there's a huge amount of value in these customers who are thinking about the opportunities with Sitecore, not in, I've got to go all XM Cloud today. Let's see a way to move forward with Composable in a way that makes sense for me as a business. But XM Cloud is still our big bet. I do believe that this product is an absolute world-class product, and it's our fastest adopted product ever in the history of Sitecore. The growth has been astonishing. We've got customers adopting the product and onboarding in lots of different ways. We have new customers who can onboard onto XM Cloud in weeks. We've got some of the most complicated XP customers, most sophisticated deployments. For sure, that's a little bit trickier because it's so complicated to come from a highly customized XP solution to XM Cloud. But we've got customers who are making that jump now, and some of them are going to talk about their experience over the next while why are people doing this, or why is Sitecore developing this, and why are customers going to this at incredible speeds? I think a couple of things. One, you've seen the new marketer interfaces. We've achieved a huge amount, but there's still work to do there. So we're not finished at all with pages and components, and I think what's coming over the next while is even more exciting. I think the work we've done on the developer experience, again, we've leveled that up and made it more modern, full stack type of developer experience. But as Liz is going to share later, we've got a ton of really cool stuff coming that's going to make that a really modern, slick developer experience, just like you'd see with any modern, cool new startup, which I think is really important for the industry that we're in. It goes without saying that our headless architecture and our edge delivery is cutting edge, and this is core to what we do. And I guess the last piece that we've been investing heavily in is, and what we've heard from a lot of our customers is, when are you going to have HIPAA compliance? When are you going to have all of the compliance that we need as a financial services company or as a healthcare business so that I can move my digital experience to XM Cloud? Good thing is that we've got ISO, SOC 2, we're nearly there with TSAX, we've got AMRAP in Australia, got a whole bunch of certifications already. We're going to have HIPAA compliance for CDP personalized this summer. We're going to have HIPAA compliance, the healthcare really strong healthcare regulation compliance for XM Cloud come the end of the year. And so we're really then on the field with only a handful of vendors in the world that can support this level of compliance with our digital experience stack in a modern, cool stack that your teams will want to use. So we're really excited about it, and I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time talking about XM Cloud, but just to say it's core to what we believe the future is. And then these are customers who've really gone all in on XM Cloud. Just want to pick a couple, right? So BDO Thermia, they're a European company that they had some they really wanted to modernize their stack. They moved all of their site capabilities to XM Cloud. They were one of our first go lives on XM Cloud. They had an 800% improvement in productivity. Looking at it on the side, I have no idea how that was counted, but they were genuinely, in terms of developer productivity, their marketers using the system, their ability to get things done quicker versus what they could do with XP, all transformative. And specifically, they had a 400% improvement in speed in mobile page load speed. So these are just tangible things that affect the business in terms of outcome for the consumer, but also tangible things that affect the business in terms of productivity in the organization. So BDO Thermia went all in. I guess if you look at, say, Sitecore, they're a life sciences company, they have a more measured approach, and I think this is something that we haven't talked about enough yet either, which is how does customers start a transition without having to go big risky .com A to B. I think what we've seen now with companies like Sitecore is they start to identify areas of their site that they can move to XM Cloud quickly. They work through how the business is going to do that. Do they have the right people, the right processes, the right partner? They learn on small, lower risk parts of the site, and then they build up speed over time and transition and evolve over time. And so they've been really successful in doing that, which is awesome. So I think for us, I think one of the things that I want to do with Sitecore is become more external or more outgoing in terms of sharing this information with all of you. So as you think about, how am I going to take this customer from A to B, or me as a customer, how do I want to get to the next level? I've got lots of options. I can start to leverage some of our composable products like Thule with CDP. I can start to evolve my core digital experience stack like Sitecore and do that iteratively and manage risk through that and bring my organization along. Or I could transform everything and go all in and make a bet that I'm going to do this in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, and have a fundamentally different way of working in a period of time, powered by our new SaaS products. In terms of roadmap for XM Cloud, again, I just want to kind of at a very high level, we kind of think about it in 3 areas. One is AI and personalization. I think every presentation has the AI message in it, but we're doing some pretty nuts and bolts things now in XM Cloud. When we released XM Cloud, we were able to do page level personalization, and we were able to do that at origin and at the edge. With the next release of XM Cloud coming very soon, we're going to have component level A/B test. First, we're going to have A/B testing as well as personalization in XM Cloud, and then we're going to have component level personalization and A/B testing. So we're really starting to show, move past even what the capabilities were, what XP had natively in our new SaaS product. And that's not to say, when we're going to show you in a while about the AI enhancements, all of that personalization, whether it's generating variants, it's getting insights into what variants to push, it's getting insights into SEO optimization as I create content. All of these workflows will be enhanced with our new Gen AI capabilities that Roger's going to talk about in a minute. I think in terms of the kind of core features, we've been talking about site management for a while. We're nearly there. And we're going to have some really, really cool site capabilities. That means you don't have to go deep into the content item tree to try and configure some stuff to create your sites. We're going to have marketer interfaces that make sense to deploy sites really quickly. And we're seeing companies like L'Oreal, who built a very sophisticated site capability, site factory capability on Sitecore, are now looking at the site factory capability in XMCloud and thinking about how are they going to be able to power the next generation of sites globally. These are companies that publish tens of sites a week, and that ability to publish campaign sites, microsites, landing pages, all of these things. XMCloud is having that capabilities to do it. We released forms. I thought we got great feedback in the first iteration, totally leveled it up on the second iteration. Things like multi-page, multi-stage forms. A huge amount of innovations happened there again. So we're continuing to kind of level up that capability with better analytics, drop-off analytics and things like that. And we're going to continue to invest in pages and components to really make that the core demoable asset of the product, and make that the area where customers and marketers are going to feel comfortable creating content at scale. On the DevX side, I think it's really important that as we think about headless, we think about what we want to do there. It's super important that we continue to evolve the framework so that you can manage components from a developer perspective. You can manage our frameworks that we currently, JSS right now is a little bit tightly integrated to things like Next.js. We want to unlock that and open up the framework so become more agnostic of framework and allow you to build with other technologies. And look at all of our starter kits are going to get leaner, meaner, easier to use, and more intuitive. So we just want to continue to be as clean and as effective as we can, so that our developers, our marketers, and our security experts, everybody who uses our products, are comfortable and confident with Sitecore. So with that, I kind of think I think we're thinking about the product journey that we're going on Sitecore in kind of three ways. We're thinking about simplification, we're thinking about offering choice, and we're thinking about how do we continue to innovate at the pace we've been innovating over the last 3 years. I think simplification for me is one of the values that I've instigated in Sitecore is simplification, and how do we simplify things. So internally, how do we simplify our processes? How do we simplify our meetings? How do we simplify our communication so that we can get work done faster? But externally in our products, how do we simplify our pricing? How do we simplify our marketing? How do we simplify how we interact with the market and the ecosystem, so that we're easier to buy from, our products are easier to access, our products are easier to use. So this is a big part of my story. I'm really, really passionate about making things easier, and simplification is something that you're going to hear a lot from me over the next while, and can't share everything at the moment, but we will have some news on how we're going to simplify our product portfolio to make it easier to understand. We'll share all of that with you at Symposium or in advance of Symposium over the next while. The second one is choice, and we've talked a lot about that. I've talked a lot about that over the last 30 minutes or so. I think that the key thing is that we become truly customer centric. It's one of our values in Sitecore is that we're customer centric, and being customer centric means that if a customer needs to stay on 9.3 for another 2 years while they sort out some internal things before they can migrate. We want to make sure that they don't feel that there's a end-of-life support happening, or they have to move to a different support contract to get that value from Sitecore. Customer centricity means that when a customer wants to remain on the on-premise version of Sitecore and go a different journey that maybe is not fully aligned with our cloud journey, we're there for them. We want to make sure that they have the right tools and support from a partner like us and partners like all of you, so that they can achieve their goals in whatever way they want. So choice is super important. Choice means they can host their DXP wherever they want. They can host it themselves, they can host it with a partner, they can host it on managed cloud, or they can take advantage of our SaaS products. I think the key thing is that choice means they can blend some of the on-prem capabilities with our SaaS products. And I just wanted to keep coming back to that point that we're ultra committed to XMXP and the future on that platform, so that this choice story actually means something. So we're walking the walk, not just saying it up here on stage. The last piece is innovation. I think this is something that I feel we've done an incredible amount of in Sitecore over the last 3 years. I think we have an awesome team who are relentless about innovating and thinking about the future and challenging ourselves internally to get more done. I think it's been something for me that's been a defining attribute or trait within Sitecore. I think we brought the composable DXP to market. We acquired some businesses, but we also built XM Cloud, we built Content Hub 1, we built a whole range of capability, we built search. All of these capabilities over the course of 3 years. You know, very few older companies, I would say, like Sitecore, get the opportunity or have a successful project to migrate or upgrade the core technology of their platform to cloud. 9 out of 10 of those projects fail for scale organizations. I think the fact that the teams have been able to take XM and create a cloud native version of that with the architecture is a tremendous achievement. And hats off to the teams that pulled that off. It's been astonishing to watch that in action. And I think that's our platform for growth as we move forward. I think the key thing though is that when I think about the bets we made 3 years ago, we decided to go headless. We decided to go API first. We decided to go composable. These were difficult things to explain to everybody who were very comfortable with Sitecore in the XMXP world with .NET and hosting themselves. I passionately believe was the right bet. I really do, because it's now our foundation for growth. It's our foundation for innovation. And so when we're going to talk about the cool AI stuff that I'm going to show you in a minute, or Roger's going to show you, I'm going to steal his thunder, Roger's going to show you in a minute, it's because we have our composable stack and we can build on that really quickly. It's a super important point to note. We might get knocked in the market at times about the fact that we really went and disrupted ourselves, but I passionately believe we've been able to leap forward in the market. We've got this underlying technology now that will provide us incredible differentiation and allows us to do these new things at speeds that none of the other competitors or vendors could do. I think about the key thing here is how do we introduce AI into our portfolio in a sensible way. We've been talking a lot about it, we've been thinking a lot about it. It wouldn't be a tech CEO's keynote if it wasn't talking about AI. But I do think that we've learned a lot already, right? So we introduced a whole range of text capabilities, Gen AI text capabilities in Content Hub 1. We've looked at the adoption, we've looked at how they work, we've learned a lot. We obviously had AI deeply in all of the composable products. We have AI in XMXP today, so it's not like AI is new to Sitecore. We've had it in all of our products, but Gen AI was new to everybody, and we brought it into search, and we introduced it into Content Hub 1, and we've been learning a lot. But with all of that, I think we wanted to think about how do we introduce this next generation of capability. I won't talk about AI, this next generation of capability into the marketers' workflows to transform the way they work with Sitecore. And so we've been spending a lot of time thinking about how do we unify the workflow from campaign creation or campaign brief right through to asset creation, content creation, publishing in channels, but more importantly, publishing in the channel that means most to Sitecore, the DXP, the web channel. How do we think about that content in the context of a site, context of a component, context of a page? How does AI assist me in all of that? And as I publish that experience, how do I optimize that experience with personalization, with search and with measurement, and how do I have a co-pilot that assists me along the way? And so the team have done an amazing job. Mo, Roger, and the broader team have done an amazing job starting to build out this capability, which is a unifying capability, a unifying workflow across the whole of our composable DXP. It's really exciting. So what I want to do is get Roger Connolly up here, our new Chief Product Officer. Give him a round of applause.